Sam was way off of his game.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bad for him to a degree because, like, man, this is the last game of the season. We all know what the off season means for you after the season that you've had. Island game, biggest game of the season, and just kind of crapped his pants. Like the whole offensive line did. I mean, not the offensive line necessary, but the whole offense did. Like they were out of sync. Couldn't throw the ball with any kind of consistency. I think like Detroit's defensive backs deserve some praise for like some of the plays they're making on the ball today. Like that was just a pretty cohesive defensive effort. But I still think if you're Minnesota, you should probably feel like you should have played a little better tonight, just based on the personnel advantage that you should have had coming into the game.
The Lions last time they just keep playing man coverage. They kind of tell you what they're going to do, and they kind of dare you to beat it. And feeling like the Vikings, they should know that, and they still didn't have answers. They were finding runs. They just kind of abandoned that and really just felt passing the ball, that they were just playing this heavy man, and they're winning up front. I mean, you could just feel Darnold just drifting back or getting hit as he was about to throw it. They hit a couple times, like they had a double move in the red zone. They ran Aaron Jones, I think, on a flatten up on Anzalone, and Darnold got hit as he was throwing it, and it would have been a touchdown. But like it just felt like they're just a split, like a hair short. I felt like Collinsworth missed a couple times where Darnold was getting hit as he throws, and I was like, I don't know how he missed that one. I was like, well, you know,
there's a missile he was in the chest.
Yeah, I mean, he was missing some. Don't get me wrong, but there was some. I was like, well, I could tell you what happened there. But that whole red zone sequence, it just felt like red zone, and I mean, it felt like situational football. I mean, going into this game, it really felt like situations would matter, but red zone and third and fourth downs, and I made a whole big deal, and I won't shut up about the Lions defense running their base defense with 4 DBs, 3 linebackers, and 4 defensive linemen. And it was really what stood out to me was they're playing more nickel. Brian Branch and man coverage in the slot is a little iffy and something I'm going to keep an eye on in the playoffs. But once they got inside the 10-yard line, which was that whole sequence you're talking about, I broke down each play. The Lions were matching no matter what the Vikings were in, except for one play, they matched with base defense. So even when the Vikings were trotting out 3 receivers, they matched base. So they were saying, you're not going to run on us inside the 5-yard line, inside the 7-yard line. Like we're going to make you throw the ball. And then they just kept running man coverage. And so they were just saying like, we're going to make you like, we're going to force your hand because I've talked about this before, but situations, personnel stuff, offenses can kind of get dictated or defenses can kind of get dictated on personnel matchups. Cause on math and theory, if you're going to have 4 defensive backs and 3 linebackers, if we try out 3 receivers, we can throw on you. And I mean, that's what, in theory, especially with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, but they couldn't. And I think Darnold feeling pressure and Darnold missing throws was a big reason of that. Those 2 fourth downs that were both incomplete, Darnold misses Addison on both of those. Yeah. He's missing Addison on both throws, and they're both man beaters, and he just doesn't throw it. Like it just felt like it was big. It was like as soon as he got pressured, it just felt like he kind of got discombobulated.
And it felt like he never really recovered either at any point in the game. There was never, because like the one thing that Sam is usually good for, where it's like, oh man, I f***ed up, but I'll forget about that and we'll just move on to the next play.
Like nothing happened. Yeah.
It's what gets him in trouble sometimes, and it's what has made him good sometimes. But today it just felt like, I don't know if it was like the weight of the moment, like this is the accumulation of the whole season and like the most important game he's ever played in his career by far, with the stakes not only for the postseason, but also the stakes financially for him after the season's over.
Biggest game since the Rose Bowl.
No, it's like seriously, in terms of what it means for what's next for him. Yeah, that's 100% accurate. So I don't know if that was on his mind, but he didn't seem to have like the normal like, all right, I messed up. Let's get back out there, try it again.
Right.
It just seems like all compound as the game went on.
A spray happens. I've seen the greatest quarterbacks in the world miss like easy throws. It happens. I watched last week Mahomes do it. I've watched every quarterback can ever do it. Darnold misses high, and I noticed that he was missing a few high. But when on those key 4th downs, the 4th and goal from the 3 and the 4th and goal from the 2, the fact that he stared at an open guy and on concepts that I know are man beaters, they're pick plays essentially, and then he just doesn't throw it. That to me is the whole like, oof. Like that's where and I'll get on young quarterbacks about this, and this is why maybe I won't go as high on some guys because I'm like, oh, they're passing up the throw that they should get, like should go to. And it's kind of just like a little bit like, oh man, like if he pulls the trigger on one of those, it's a whole different ball game. But the fact that he just doesn't even pull the trigger, like Darnold making a mistake and missing a throw, like he missed that first 3rd and long, he misses Hawkinson over the middle. All right, you missed those. All right, but at least you tried. You pushed the ball on 3rd and long. Okay, cool. All right, at least you took a bite at the apple and there was a worm in it, you know? But at least on these, I don't know. I've never used that metaphor.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I've never used it in my entire life. I don't know. But the fact that you just turn down those throws is just like, that's scary, because it's like, okay, is this what you just get blinders when it's a big moment? Like you turn blind basically, because I've seen it from quarterbacks, all ages, all types of quarterbacks do that in big moments, because in their head they're like, I'm going to Jefferson here, or I'm going to scramble here because that guy's not going to be open. They start kind of gaming it in their head and then miss the throw or miss the opportunity. So, but yeah, I mean, credit to the Lions, man. This is why they're so good. It doesn't matter who's out there. They played hard. Anzalone being back was huge, but I thought the defensive line played great. I thought they played great in coverage. I mean, really credit to the Lions defense.